Hello, you are watching Shalom World News. I'm Rudy McLennan coming to you from Glasgow, Scotland. Here are the latest headlines from around the world. Churches in Europe are demanding the opening of the Lachin Corridor linking the ethnic Armenian enclave of Nagorno Karabakh in Azerbaijan with Armenia. Since December last year, the movement of goods and essential items has been blocked in the enclave by Azeri troops following the delicate truce called after the 2021 war in the region. As many as 120,000 Armenian Christians are impacted by the blockade, including around 30,000 children. Both the World Council of Churches and the Conference of European Churches have stressed the need for prompt action by the international community. Thanks to the intervention of Caritas and local communities, a total of 80 people, including 42 Ukrainian children and their guardians from Nikopol and Kryviy Rih, will be welcomed for the summer in the Italian dioceses of Senigallia, Ascoli Piceno and Macerata. The effort has both the endorsement of the Apostolic Nunciature in Ukraine and the Italian Episcopal Conference. The project joins others that are already underway and have given more than 600 children and young people the chance to spend a few weeks in peace away from misery and war. Caritas Spes, Caritas Ukraine and Caritas Italiana have been working alongside Ukrainian communities and leading the way in emergency management and aid since the start of the Russian invasion of Ukraine. In the United States, officials have warned that the death toll from a wildfire on the Hawaiian island of Maui may increase as the search for bodies continues. The death toll from the devastating forest blaze currently stands at over 90. A large portion of the historically significant town of Lahaina was destroyed. The wildfire is the worst in the United States in more than a century. Hawaii Governor Josh Green said that the fire caused devastation to the tune of $6 billion and will take an incredible amount of time to repair. Meanwhile, during the Sunday Angelus, Pope Francis expressed his sympathies for those affected by the fires. In a telegram addressed to the Apostolic Nuncio in the United States, the pontiff expressed solidarity with the victims of the blaze. Two Nicaraguan priests who went to Portugal to attend the Lisbon World Youth Day earlier this month have been barred from returning home by the regime. Father Tomás Sergio Zamora Calderón and Father William Mora were told by the Daniel Ortega regime not to return to Nicaragua. Meanwhile, the Central American University, owned by the Society of Jesus, had its assets frozen by the administration led by President Ortega and his wife and Vice President Rosario Murillo. Auxiliary Bishop of Managua, Silvio Baez, expressed indignation after the dictatorship's aggression against the university. In the conflict-ridden northeast Indian state of Manipur, a Catholic archbishop is urgently appealing for prayers. Archbishop Dominic Lumon of Impal is urging believers and people of goodwill to pray so that the minds of people who are led by hatred and religious violence are transformed. In a letter sent to Pontifical Charity Aid to the Church in Need, the prelate lamented the destruction and loss to communities and the Church, adding that the need for help is enormous. Thousands of people have been forced to flee from the ethnic clashes involving the Métis and Kuki tribes. The conflict has seen the destruction of more than 300 churches and other buildings of various denominations. Archbishop Lumon said that his community has been cut off from the outside world because of the months-long internet and social media ban imposed by the government. In the American state of California, parents are expressing grave concerns over a bill passed by the Senate. State Bill 596 criminalizes causing what it calls substantial disorder at school board meetings. It also seeks to expand the definition of school employees to cover any official or staff member of a school district, charter school, or state education board or office. Parental rights groups have said that the bill seeks to stop parents from speaking out at school board meetings. The proposed legislation does not define substantial disorder, and the definition of harassment is said to be left open to interpretation. Those who violate the proposed law could face a fine of between $500 and $1,000 and a year in county jail, or both. The legislation will now make its way to the floor of the lower chamber. A delegation of the Australian Church recently made a pastoral visit to war-torn Ukraine. Archbishop Peter Comensoli of Melbourne, Archbishop Julian Porteous of Hobart, and Bishop Karol Kulczycki of Port Pirie led the delegation. The group visited several cities in the Eastern European nation. They also visited a rehabilitation centre in Lviv and interacted with soldiers, civilians and refugees. They also took part in the funeral of soldier Rostislav Rudenko in the garrison church of the Holy Apostles Peter and Paul in the city. Archbishop Comensoli said they wanted to be with the faithful in these difficult and tragic moments as the war unleashed by Russia continues. The prelate added that the Catholic Church in Australia was praying for peace in the country and promised to tell others about the war and the courage of the Ukrainian people. A judge in the US state of Nebraska has rejected the attempt to block the prohibition on abortions after the 12th week of pregnancy and restrictions on gender reassignment surgery. Lancaster County District Court Judge Lori Merritt allowed a law approved by the state legislature earlier this year to remain in effect. As per the Nebraska law in question, abortion is banned after 12 weeks of gestation, and the only exceptions are in cases of rape, incest, and to save the life of the mother. As of the 1st of October, it will prevent young people under the age of 19 from receiving so-called gender-affirming surgery and curtails the use of hormone treatments and puberty blockers for minors. When the law was passed, Planned Parenthood of the Heartland filed a lawsuit arguing that legislators violated a constitutional requirement that bills do not contain more than one subject. The State Attorney General argued that the issue did not violate the rule, as both were health-related. Pilgrims from around the world are in the French Marian Pilgrim Sanctuary of Lourdes on the occasion of the 150th anniversary of the National Pilgrimage. The pilgrimage will conclude on the 16th of August, and the theme of this year is Together Let Us Build on the Rock. The National Pilgrimage will feature holy masses in several languages, conferences, and a procession. According to Rector Father Michel Dauban, it is all about 150 years of spiritual journeys and joy. Director of the pilgrimage, Father Vincent Cabanach, said that on the solemnity of the Assumption of the Virgin Mary, there will be prayers for France, for the world, and for peace. Over the next couple of days, more than 6,000 pilgrims are expected to arrive in Lourdes from around the world. On Monday evening, the pilgrim town will witness a torchlight procession. A group of 16 US lawmakers has appealed to the Joe Biden administration to come to the defense of two prominent Finnish Christians who are facing trial for citing biblical teachings on marriage and sexuality. Lawmaker Päivi Räsänen and Lutheran Bishop Johanna Pohjola are facing a retrial for allegations of hate speech. They had made comments citing the Bible and the Lutheran Church's teaching on homosexuality. Although a court had dismissed the charges levelled against them, prosecutors appealed the decision, and Räsänen and Pohjola have to face a retrial on the 22nd of August. If found guilty, they could be jailed for up to 2 years and penalised with fines. The American lawmakers are being led by Representative Chip Roy of Texas. The Republican lawmaker has asked the US envoy to Finland, Douglas Hickey, and US Ambassador at Large for International Religious Freedom, Rashad Hussein, to raise concerns about the matter. In Lebanon, the Chaldean Archdiocese of Beirut observed an evening of prayer and reflection at the Cathedral of the Archangel Raphael in Babda Brasilia. The prayer service was held for the Chaldean Church in Iraq. It was attended by Maronite Patriarch Beshara Boutros Rai and Episcopal Vicar General of the Chaldean Archdiocese of Beirut, Father Raphael Trabelsi. He said, though the Church in Iraq is going through difficult circumstances, their faith in the Lord is as firm as a rock, and there is nothing to fear or despair. According to the Jordanian state news agency, the King of the Hashemite Kingdom has passed a bill that criminalises internet speech deemed detrimental to national unity. Human rights organisations have accused the government of repressing free speech in a nation where censorship is said to be on the rise. The law makes some internet remarks punishable by penalties and several months in jail. Comments that are said to promote, incite, aid in or incite immorality, show contempt for a religion or undermine national unity fall under this category. Human Rights Watch is among a coalition of 14 organisations that have called the law draconian. They said vague provisions allow Jordan's executive branch to punish people for exercising their right to free expression, forcing judges to convict citizens in the majority of cases. And those are your latest headlines. Do join us again tomorrow for more, and do remember, you can always visit swnews.org for more updates. Shalom.